let's get right into it. All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to The Week in Geek. This is our weekly geekly news show that we do here on our Thursday Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Checkpoint Church here on Checkpoint Church. If you're watching us over from YouTube, everybody in chat say, hi, YouTube. We're glad that you're watching. If you're listening here via our podcast, we thank you for listening to our podcast feed. We appreciate you. Encourage you to go and subscribe if you haven't already and leave a 5-star review to let us know that you enjoy this kind of content so we can keep making good old stuff like that. We're glad that you're here, folks. We do have a special guest joining us today. So we typically have this every single week, but sometimes we have a level 2 member that'll hop in with us as well. So joining us today is Mayfly. Mayfly's profile picture is going to be right here, which, as I understand it, Mayfly, you drew that, correct? You're an artist.
I did, yes. That is Issa, my D&D character.
Love that. So that's super fun, and we'll learn more about that maybe as we close out the show. Any shout outs if anybody can follow your art anywhere, or if they can just join the Discord and check your cool stuff out that you do whenever you post it here and there. So we're going to start this show, as we always do, with our welcome of what did you watch, play, and read over the past week. So if you're in the chat, let us know, what did you watch, play, and read over the past week? And with that, I'll start with you, Mayfly. Go ahead and introduce yourself in any way that you would like to, and then let us know, what have you been watching, reading, and playing?
Hello, I am Mayfly. Mayfly's good. Not watching much at the moment. Still trudging through Tears of the Kingdom. I say trudging, but obviously it's a fun time. And I am still trying to get through Children of Dune. Not that it's like a task to get through, but I just haven't set out time to actually sit down and finish it. I'm very close to the end of the book. I just haven't sat down and finished it. So, what about you?
Gotcha. So I'm like coming on the tail end of everything. So I'm finishing a lot of things right now. I am about to finish an anime called Insomniacs After School. So for those of you that keep up with our nerdy sermons, expect a nerdy sermon on that probably the week after this one, because I typically watch something, write a sermon on it, and put it out there pretty quickly. I'm really enjoying the story. It's very cute. It's very much like a coming-of-age romance. I just love these characters. I also do consider myself somewhat of an insomniac. I've done better since I've had kids and taken melatonin, but as a kid, I would just stay up into the late hours of the night and feel nothing but wanting to nap during the day. And so I relate pretty heavily to the characters, and I obviously just love that method of storytelling in anime. If you don't know me, I'm a big old weeb. And then I just finished reading Psalm for the Wild Built. If you haven't joined our Checkpoint Book Club, you should consider doing that. You can join it over in the Discord, !Discord. In the chat, if you want to join that, you can go to the section called Books, and I post our link every now and again. We have a Fable account now, a Fable Book Club. Super cool. We're actually just picking our next book today. So if you're watching this the day after, Thursday the 29th, then you're probably going to miss the vote, but that's okay. Go ahead and join the Discord now, though, and then you can get into it. So we just finished that one. Wild Built was really good. I super enjoyed it. I am looking forward to reading the second one, though I'm not sure if we'll read that in the book club or not. But man, that had some great quotes in it. And then I just finished Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice, the final entry into the Ace Attorney series. I'm very sad that it's gone and very sad to be done with all of those stories. I love Ace Attorney. They're so goofy and fun. But this just means that I'll have to play the throwback ones that go back like 200 years or whatever. So it's not the end of the world. But with that, we're going to move into our trending headlines. Still, let us know in the chat if you want to drop what you're watching, reading, or playing. We would love to hear what's going on in your lives. With that, we're going to get into our first news of the day, which is Sonic Central. So if you missed out on Sonic Central, they did this a little bit after Summer Game Fest. I don't know why they waited like a week out, but they did put together a Sonic Central Nintendo Direct-esque thing through Sega. So this is all Sonic-related news. I just figured I would go through the summary real quick. So they are announcing a birthday update for Sonic Frontiers, which is going to have some different moves and collectibles, New Game Plus, all sorts of stuff there. That is actually already out there. So if you're still in Sonic Frontiers, you should have already gotten that in your feed. The Sonic Sonic Speed Simulator is coming to Roblox. Sonic Prime Season 2, we got a little teaser showing that. Samba de Amigo, they announced that Sonic will be a playable character in that rhythm game, including to City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2, which brings me a lot of joy. I've never really cared for the Samba games, but I do love City Escape and Sonic Adventure 2 especially, so interested to see how that does. Sonic Symphony World Tour, they announced the Symphony is going to be touring, and they announced some of the locations and dates. I would love to go see a video game symphony. I've not been able to do that yet, but that would be so cool. Tales Tube, which is their YouTube series where they have a little VTuber of Tales, is going to be doing a second season on YouTube. If you don't follow Sonic on YouTube, I think that they do a great job keeping the content together. Some new merchandise. They just had like a slew of Sonic merchandise release, including some Sonic-themed Crocs, which I have not worn Crocs since I was 12 years old, but kind of wanted one because I thought they looked so cool. A new collaboration with Hypeland, a Green Hill Zone Igloo cooler, and an S-Fire statue of Sonic and Shadow from Sonic Adventure was announced. They'll all be coming to the merchandise store June 26th. We're also going to be getting a new IDW comic from Amy Rose's perspective. So Amy Rose is Sonic's sort of sometimes love interest, weird character that they've had change several times, but she's going to be getting her own comic, which is exciting. Sonic Lego sets, which I'm super amped for on August 1st. There are a ton coming out, as well as an Eggman takeover that if it does well enough on social media, they've said they will make an Eggman set. And then Sonic Superstars collaboration with Lego. Okay, that's the one. That's the last one. So yeah, that's all we got. Those are all of the Sonic announcements. I am a fan of Sonic. You may or may not be, but I would love to hear in the chat if you have any thoughts on any of the Sonic merch, if any of it, got your gears going, or if you were just kind of like, that's just another thing. Mayfly, do you have any love for Sonic?
Honestly, not really.
Not really. Did you miss out on the Sonic Adventure games?
I did. I missed out. Video games weren't big in my household. I'm the only video game player in my household. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I missed out on a lot of things.
See, I was so out of the Xbox world and so into the GameCube world because that's all my family would get me was like, Nintendo's clean and family friendly. And so I would always rent games from the movie gallery. And Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was one of those games that I rented very often from the movie gallery. Catching up on some of our watch read plays there. Strange Done says reading How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Love his books. I'll have to check that one out. And then Sneaky Pig says playing Diablo 4, reading Sanderson, watching Secret Invasion and Witcher Season 3 starting today. Very exciting.
Nice.
Okay, let's move on to our next news story, which has to do with the developer behind the game Season, A Letter to the Future. So there is a pretty big scourge of layoffs hitting Scavenger's studio that they have to lay off a significant portion of their staff due to the commercial underperformance of the game. According to a report from GI Biz, the studio's staff size has been cut down from 40 to just 16 members after Season only sold 60,000 copies in the first 5 months following its release. The game, despite being well-received critically, failed to meet commercial expectations, as stated by the CEO, Amelie LaMarche. Despite efforts to stimulate sales through content updates and discounts, the number of copies sold was insufficient to sustain the studio. LaMarche indicated that the combination of the world global economic context and the game's performance left them with no alternative but to downsize the team significantly. The company is committed to supporting the laid-off employees by providing financial and psychological support, extended healthcare coverage, and outplacement services to help them secure new jobs. Yes, Sneaky, I did play this game on stream. I was underwhelmed. I didn't really get it, and I don't think that's the fault of the game. I think that's the fault of my own. Maybe it wasn't for me, or something about it just didn't quite click. I thought that it was just fairly underwhelming. It just didn't hit in the way that I needed it to. I'm always sad to hear about a studio having to cut back. So that's disappointing, but it kind of is the nature of the market and all these things coming together. I'm sad for it. I'm very sad to see that a team is having to be laid off and cut back. I'm glad to hear that it sounds like a package is at least being prepared that sounds good. I hope that it actually is as good as it sounds, and I hope that the members of this team will go on to make something just as exciting. What are your thoughts on this, Mayfly?
That is awful. I mean, if the game doesn't perform, you got to do something, but it just, especially with everything economically right now, that really sucks. So I'm hoping that package that they mentioned is going to be, as good as, like you were saying, as good as, they're saying it is. So
just knowing, I mean, doing the math in my head, I'm not super good at math, but 60,000 copies, I'm pretty sure the game is like $20. I don't think it was more than that. And 40 employees does not a salary make. So
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not enough. It doesn't add up the way it needs to, not to mention the overhead and all the other costs that they have to expect. So it's a big bummer. I hope that maybe it'll have a resurgence and maybe the team will go on to do something new and exciting in the next time. But
Yeah.
it just it is the bummer of the games industry, which continues to bum us out. So Mayfly, I'll let you take the next one of the continued fallout of bummers in gaming.
So Xbox has reportedly been considering acquiring a bunch of different companies, including Sega, Bungie, IO Interactive, as revealed in an internal document submitted due to the ongoing FTC legal battle against Xbox's acquisition of Blizzard. The document, dated May 2021, details Xbox's strategy to fill content gaps in mobile development and foster franchises with strong communities and deep engagement. An initial list of 100 developers was narrowed down to 8 candidates, including Thunderful, Supergiant Games, Niantic, Playrix. I always pronounce this one in my head. Zynga?
I say Zynga. I have no idea.
Zynga. I don't know.
ZYNGA. Everybody knows it from their mobile
ZYNGA.
game.
Yeah, Bungie, IO Interactive, and Scopely. Phil Spencer, Microsoft's head, specifically sought approval from Microsoft CFO Amy Hood and CEO Satya Nadella to pursue Sega's gaming studios. It's currently unclear why, when, or even if Spencer's Sega acquisition plan fell through. Factors like investment from Nexon and complications from Sega's other business units may have posed challenges, despite the draw of Sega's PC-centric content and franchises like Total War, Yakuza, and Sonic. So that is Xbox wants to take over the world, is what that sounds like.
Well, and I'm almost certain all of these would have gone to Game Pass. It's really interesting if you're keeping up with all of this court case and the fallout that has happened. This really is just the tip of the iceberg, and one of the things that I thought was probably the most interesting. But there is so much. If you are a gossip columnist, you are living the high life right now.
For sure.
But I was intrigued by this. I think that to put like a name. They used some of the franchises, especially with Sega, but Bungie is obviously Destiny 2. And then you've got some other names in there like Supergiant, who, of course, produced the award-winning Hades that did so well. Niantic is, of course, big into XR and Pokemon Go and things like that. They're constantly trying new things. Whether or not they work is up for grabs. And then Zynga is just a monopoly, mobile gaming and online gaming, that they make more money than any of them do. I wouldn't have been surprised to have seen who does Genshin Impact. I can't remember who's the producer of Genshin Impact, but I wouldn't have been surprised to have seen their name on this list because that's the kind of like weight that Xbox is going for to try and scoop up in this.
Yeah, this article specifically, it's just they're honing in on Sega very specifically, is what the papers are looking like. So that's interesting. That is very interesting.
It'll be neat to see if like 2 years from now, if the deal happens and if we do see Sega get bought out by Xbox and become such a big deal. There's no doubt in my mind that specifically with Yakuza, that has been on Game Pass and off Game Pass and on Game Pass and off Game Pass. So they've had conversations plenty of times, and I think we'll see some kind of official relationship happen eventually, if not an acquisition. But
this quote says will help us accelerate Xbox Game Pass both on and off console.
I'd be interested to hear if anybody in the chat has opinions on this. So be sure to let me know down in the comment section if you're watching on YouTube later, because I really would like to hear the answer to this question. Do you think this has been a good year for Game Pass? Because at least for me, I can't tell you the last time I've booted it up. Whereas 2022, I bet you I had a new Game Pass game going every single week. And I have been underwhelmed by this year. I just don't think it's lived quite up to its potential of 2022 in particular. So I'm interested to hear if anybody else is playing Game Pass as much as they used to, or if you think it's kind of waned a little bit.
Yeah,
do you have Game Pass?
Not anymore. I go back and forth between getting it depending on what's on there. So I can't even tell you the last time. I think the last time I booted up my Xbox at all was for my in-laws to watch television when they were here in May. And that was the last time it was even used. So
that's what Xbox became for me. And so I think that that is probably their biggest concern. I think that's Phil Spencer's biggest concern. And that's why this whole thing is trying to happen. Because if they're able to acquire Activision Blizzard, that's going to be another boon and another boost in their interest and in their market that is kind of waning, for me at least. Sneaky says, I haven't played much Game Pass this year. I also think it'll get rougher for Game Pass around September, October with the big games coming out. It's a huge year. Starfield is going to be their biggest thing. And they definitely have some big, like, play it day one on Game Pass gets that are going to be happening in the next couple months. But I just don't know. I hope that it succeeds. I like Game Pass. I enjoy it as a subscription model, and I think that it's a successful one. But it's hard to sustain. And especially whenever I keep seeing so many games that I particularly have a passion for leaving Game Pass, it is a bummer. It is a bummer.
Yeah.
So continue to let us know your thoughts. We're going to move into the next story, which is about Meta. Meta is introducing a new VR game subscription called MetaQuest Plus, which costs $7.99 a month or $60 a year. To encourage signups, the company is offering the first month subscription for $1. That sounds familiar. If signed up before July 31st. The service, compatible with MetaQuest 2, Quest Pro, and the upcoming Quest 3, offers 2 titles from the MetaQuest app each month. That also sounds familiar, similar to PlayStation Plus, they even say it. Users will have access to the games they've redeemed as long as they remain subscribed to Quest Plus. That sounds familiar. The first 2 games offered are Pistol Whip and Pixel Ripped. That was a little bit of a tongue tie. Pistol Whip and Pixel Ripped, 1995, with Walkabout Mini Golf and Mother Gunship Forge announced for August. So I am intrigued by this. It sounds like they're taking the not my favorite aspects. I mean, the $1 is just fine, but the whole PlayStation Plus model is an interesting one for me. I like when they let you keep the games even if you don't have a subscription. So I think that is a risky move, especially considering how much the Quest is just kind of okay, and the games that come out are just kind of okay. Like, I think that's a bad call. But I think that the whole idea of offering 2 games a month under this is ultimately going to be good and hopefully get more games out in the market. I only ever hear people playing the same 3 games on the Meta. And I have a Meta. I couldn't tell you the last time that I have booted it up. So, yeah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it works for them. I don't have a Meta or a Quest or anything. I haven't really gotten super into the VR scene myself. But, I mean, I hope it works for them. It is very similar to PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. It's extremely similar, with the one exception being that you can't access once you're off.
Yeah.
And I hope they walk that back. I didn't see much fallout from this. I actually didn't hear about this. I found this article, and I can't believe that I found it. Like, this feels like huge news that would have, like, ricocheted. And I think it's a testament to how much VR is underwhelming, because I haven't heard anyone talk about this. This is the first. I had to find it, and granted, it's mainly because these 2 games are not exciting either. But I'm just surprised. I'm surprised they aren't marketing it harder. I'm surprised that it's not making more news, and I'm surprised that they're taking it the way that they are. It's very interesting to me. We'll have to see. It would have made total sense. I guess they just assumed everybody already has Beat Saber, because you would think that would be like their very first game that they would give away for free. Of course they would. It's Beat Saber, right? So, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff. I'll be interested to hear if anybody that does have VR, that uses it regularly, would like to weigh in more heavily on this. Will you be getting this subscription? Do you think that it's worth it? I don't think that I will be getting it until they promise that you can have it forever. And then if they did, I would probably get a copy for Checkpoint, just to accrue titles for if we ever have a live gathering and we could have people get together and play them. There's really I see no sense in purchasing this unless you are either just such an avid Quest user that you're using it on the regs and you're getting tired of the old games. I don't know. I don't know who this is for. I'm very intrigued. I think this is just to make money, and I'm just curious to how it actually pans out. And
Very
hopefully
niche
that it
group of
allows
people.
more people to play more games less expensively.
Well, all right. Sorry.
On to our next one with Mayfly.
Yeah, so Horizon Forbidden West is honoring Lance Reddick. So players of Forbidden West have found an in-game tribute to the late Lance Reddick, who portrayed the character Silence. Reddick passed away in March of this year, which I do remember. I do remember when that news broke. I was very upset because I loved I love these games. The tribute, which is part of the Burning Shores expansion, consists of Reddick's name displayed in lights on a cliff overlooking the Hollywood sign and is located on the first island players visit in the northeast corner. It's speculated that Guerrilla Games added the tribute in the 1.26 update released on June 20th. Reddick was a renowned actor known for his roles in productions like John Wick, Destiny, and The Wire. Yeah, that I remember when that news broke and I was really sad. But that is really sweet. That reminds me a lot of when you hear about like WoW guilds or whatever having, a member of theirs pass away and they hold a little funeral like in game, or they hold like a celebration of life in game and stuff like that. So that's kind of what that reminds me of. It's very sweet.
Yeah, I like to see it. I think that the more that we can have of this kind of honoring of lives is going to be better. And especially whenever it's somebody that is such a beloved actor. Like, it's not, I don't think I can remember Lance Reddick ever being caught up in any controversy or drama. He wasn't somebody that was in the tabloids. He wasn't somebody that was getting, featured on the cover of whatever People magazine. So he was, is People magazine even still? That feels very dated of a reference. Anyway, yeah, I think that it's just all around a good thing, and I'm happy to see it. I hope that we'll see more and more of it. I hope that John Wick does some way to honor his role whenever they release their next film that they've already announced. So hopefully we'll hear more about that and more ways to honor such a prolific actor, such a good character actor. And so we'll move on to our next one, but wanted to make sure we mentioned that and honored that life. With that, we're going to get into the summer 2023 anime list. So for those of you that aren't into the anime scene, the anime release schedule goes on a seasonal basis. So they just announce everything in seasons, literally like spring, summer, and fall, and winter. So this is the summer 2023 announcements. I'm going to absolutely power through these just because I think that there are so many, and we could be here for a while. So I'm just going to get right on into them rather than dwell on it much longer. Everything coming to Crunchyroll first. Am I Actually the Strongest? Atie, Ryza, Ever Darkness, and The Secret Hideout, the animation. Ayaka, A Story of Bonds and Wounds. Ayakashi Triangle. Bungo Stray Dogs Season 5. Card Fight Vanguard, Will Plus Dress Season 3. Case Closed. Classroom for Heroes. The Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2. Eden Zero Season 2. Fate Strange, Fake Whispers of Dawn. The Gene of AI. The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses. The Great Cleric. Horimiya, The Missing Pieces. Liar Liar. Link Click Season 2. That one's there just for H-Man. Malevolent Spirits, Monogatari, Core 2. Masamune-kun's Revenge R. The Masterful Cat is depressed again today. The Misfit of Demon King Academy 2. Mix Meisei Story 2nd Season. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation Season 2. I'm sure we'll be doing a nerdy sermon on that one. My Tiny Senpai, My Unique Skill Makes Me OP even at level 1. One Piece continues. Reborn as a Vending Machine, I Now Wander the Dungeon, So Stupid. Reign of the Seven Spellblades. Rent-A-Girlfriend Season 3. I've always thought about doing a sermon on Rent-A-Girlfriend because I love that story, but we'll see. Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts, Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence. Soaring Sky, Pretty Cure. Sugar Apple Fairy Tale Season 2. Sweet Reincarnation, Tenpuru, No One Can Live on Loneliness. Tonikawa, Over the Moon for You, High School Days. Undead Murder Farce. Yohane the Parahelion, Sunshine in the Mirror. Those are all the ones coming to Crunchyroll. Next up, we have, more of Crunchyroll. These are the ones coming to High Dive, Dark Gathering, Helk, Level 1 Demon Lord, and One Room Hero. The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen from Villainous to Savior. All those are coming to High Dive. And then the ones coming to Hulu, we have Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War, The Separation, Sensuality Noir, Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead. I think that one will probably take off. I did not enjoy it, but maybe it'll do well. Coming to Netflix, Season 2, Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy Season 2, My Happy Marriage, Record of Ragnarok 2, Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead, also coming there. And then the ones that have not yet gotten a streaming platform are Azure Lane, Queen's Orders, Bang Dream, It's My Go, Beryl and Sapphire 2, Cute Executive Officer R, The Duke of Death and His Maid Season 2, Hayakusho Kazoku, Ikemono-san, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. I didn't know that didn't have a release. Surely it's coming to Crunchyroll. Kyoko no Soku, My Dreamy Realist, Rurouni Kenshin, Shadowverse Flame, Seven Shadows In, Spy Classroom Season 2, and Yamishibai 11. Woo! Okay. That is all the stuff that is coming this season and some exciting things happening. I think that the biggest ones to keep an eye out for, especially if you're curious about watching along with Checkpoint, would probably be, let's see, The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses will be good for romance. I did not enjoy the manga particularly, but I think it is popular for whatever reason. Link Click is a big deal. Mushoku Tensei, obviously. Rent-A-Girlfriend, probably. I know some folks in the Discord watch that. Over the Moon for You is super cute. Always a fun one to watch. I think that's honestly that might be it. Helk, a lot of people will be watching. Zom 100, like I mentioned, a lot of people will be watching, and then that's probably about it. Those are the ones to keep an eye out for and the ones to watch along with us here at Checkpoint. I don't know what we'll be doing as far as nerdy sermons, but typically I try to focus on the ones that are the most popular and watch those first and see if there's anything that we can get out of them. So Mayfly, I know that you've not watched anime in a while. Did any of those grab your interest at all?
Honestly, The Great Cleric, I Googled it. I am a cleric in D&D because everything I do relates back to D&D somehow. I don't know why. But that one, the title got me, and I went and read the description online, and I was like, that seems like something I would watch and thoroughly enjoy. Yeah. So that was the one that really stood out to me, actually. I was kind of surprised because we've known from talking on the Discords, like, my anime days I feel old from ones that I watched years ago. So.
Well, there were definitely some retro ones on there in Bleach and Rurouni Kenshin coming
back.
So interesting to see how things just keep going. Yeah. Well, I'll have to check out The Great Cleric. We'll see what we think about it. There are a ton of D&D and high fantasy anime that come out all the time, and sometimes they're really good and sometimes they really whiff. So hopefully that will be a good one. With that, we're going to move on to the Discord section. If you ever want to submit news to us, you can submit it at bit.ly/DearTwig, DEARTWIG, or you can just use our Discord, !Discord in the chat if you want to join that. And the more that you will engage in that space and hang out with us there and post news and articles and things that are interesting to you, I try and click on those, save those, and feature them in the upcoming week of Twig. So be sure to do that. This week we only have one. It was actually submitted by myself. The Video Game Awards had their concert recently, and the big surprise was that Jables, old Jack Black, came out and performed Peaches from the latest Super Mario movie that has been doing so well. It was such a goofy song, and it took off and has been doing well. So I'm not going to play that one for copyright reasons on Twig, but I hope that you will seek it out and find the article of it because it's always a fun time. I think Jack Black is a gift and a super fun guy, and so I always enjoy seeing him being his usual goofy self. So if you want to check that out, be sure to do so. Any thoughts there, Mayfly?
I have not actually seen the movie or even heard the song at all.
I'm amazed you passed by the song. It feels like it's been everywhere.
I heard the whole, like, him repeating Peaches over and over again.
That's the song. You've heard the song.
Okay, well then maybe I have heard the song.
That's pretty
I haven't heard the whole song.
There's definitely there's sort of a verse where he's like, Peach, you're the one. I'm on and he Jack Blacks his way all through the verse, but the chorus, the peaches, is definitely the song. So you've heard at least 99% of the song, maybe 1%.
Okay. I thought I really missed out on something there. It just
No, it's just a goofy fun time, and I would recommend the movie. I think it was a fun little romp. I don't know when it's going to come. Is it on streaming anywhere? Or is it just video on demand? It might just be video on demand. I'll just look that up. If it's anywhere out there, I think it was a great movie to watch and enjoy, especially on a streaming service.
It's on
With
Peacock.
That, we're going to move to everybody's favorite part of the show. At this point in nerd history, it took just a minute to get there. I forgot there was a blank slide in there. So we're going to go through everything that came out on this day, on June 29th, throughout time and space, as it relates to movies, video games, and then we have one little random one thrown in there. So I'm going to start us off with our movies here. Back in 2011, Transformers Dark of the Moon, which remains to be one of the silliest movie titles ever. Ratatouille in 2007. 2005, Tom Cruise's classic War of the Worlds, which is a movie that is forever pinned in my brain. I love that movie. Very impactful one. And then 2001, oh gosh, was it Haley Joel Osment? Who was the kid in Artificial Intelligence AI, which is AI, the movie. 2001. With that, Mayfly, take us away for games.
Yeah, games. So 2016 was Inside. 2007, Final Fantasy VI releases for the Game Boy Advance in the UK. 2000, Persona 2 and / Jet Grind Radio. And 1999, Command and Conquer for the N64. Yeah, some random stuff that came out at this point in nerd history. 2007, the Gen 1 iPhone went on sale. So that was cool.
Yeah.
I
There's some good
feel
ones
like
in there.
forever
Inside
ago.
is like one of my favorite games. It's a really, really good narrative game if you've never played it. I have yet to play Persona 2. I wish I had. The Jet Set Radio, Jet Grind Radio games are all classics. And then Command and Conquer for the N64 is my favorite Command and Conquer. And you'll have to let us know if anybody in the chat had the Gen 1 iPhone. Let me know if you had it, because I think that's so cool. My first one, I think, was the iPhone 4. I had the iPhone 4, the iPhone 6, and then I switched to Android from that point on. So... yes, even the iPhone hater, I did have the iPhone for a little while.
I also am an iPhone hater, and I did also have my first one was a 4.
The 4. Yeah, that was a big year. I feel like the 4 was the one that I remember everybody sort of had. And then it's just continued to seep into the world from that point on. So those are our games and movies and random things that have been released at this point in nerd history. Okay. With that, we're going to go into our next segment of the show, which is upcoming releases, some things coming out in the near future, in the upcoming week. So I'll let Mayfly kick it off with movies.
Yeah, movies. So the 30th? So tomorrow. Yeah, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. We'll see how that goes.
See.
We'll see. We'll see.
It has a
Nimona
4 right now on IGN, by the way.
Of course it does. Of course it does. Yeah, those ones have gone downhill after the first one. But that's a discussion for another time. Nimona and Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken.
I'm super intrigued by Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. I've seen the trailers for it, and I think it's funny. The Little Mermaid
Kraken
dig is fun. Yeah, it's like this. It's this teenage girl that learns that she's a Kraken, and then has to embrace her true identity, and learns that the Kraken is actually the good guys and that mermaids are the bad guys.
Interesting.
I like it because they have basically Ariel. I have a feeling her name is not Ariel because I don't think it's by Disney, but they have essentially Ariel being like Regina George from Mean Girls. That's her personality type, and it looks very funny. Nimona is a Netflix original movie coming out soon based off of a very well-loved, not infamous, but famous comic. So I'm super intrigued by Nimona. I like comics and I like good stories, so we'll see how it turns out. With that, we're going to get into games coming out in the upcoming week. On the 29th, that's today, we have AEW, I think that's All Elite Wrestling, Fight Forever, coming out today. Enclave HD, which is a remake of the original Enclave games, a third-person RPG. Mindset, which is a VR puzzler game. Then coming out tomorrow is Crime O'Clock, which I'm still very curious about. I wish I'd gotten to play it for our demos. Maybe we'll play it for our next demo Monday. Everybody 1-2 Switch, the 1-2 Switch sequel is coming out tomorrow. Ghost Trick, Phantom Detective. Trying to decide if I'll wait to play that on stream because I definitely plan on playing it, and I think it'd be a goofy, fun time to have on stream. Inner Ashes, I'm really intrigued by this one. It's an Alzheimer's narrative game. And I have a special place in my heart for those that suffer with Alzheimer's. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but if it's good, I definitely want to experience it and cry through that one. Master Detective Archives Rain Code, the true GOTY of the year, the coming together of both Zero Escape and Danganronpa's directors in Tokyo Games, hitting the Switch on the 30th. I cannot wait. Remote Life 2 Fearless, which is a shmup, will be hitting tomorrow as well. On the 1st of July, Stonks 9800, a stock market simulator. Got to be a meme game. On the 2nd, Incessant. On the 3rd, Tales from Alteria. And then on the 4th, Synapse, which looks like a FPS game, is hitting the market. So those are our games. Any of those games grab your interest there, Mayfly?
Maybe Ghost Trick and Inner Ashes, like you were saying. Those two seem really interesting. I was looking them up as we were going over them. Those two seem really interesting.
Ghost Trick is like the quintessential Ace Attorney experience. It's very similar to Ace Attorney as I understand it. And I think that you start the game, spoiler alert, I think you start the game dead and you are a ghost detective. So you're being a detective and you're also in the afterlife. So not dissimilar from Yu Yu Hakusho in that sense. But I don't think you have superpowers.
One night to solve the mystery of your death. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely know the character. He's got the big, yellow hair that's he looks like he's just been struck by lightning. And I want to play it. I think it's going to be just as goofy as Ace Attorney, and I would love to experience that. Supposedly, if it does well enough, the game director, this game is over 20 years old. And if the game director says that it's like gets good enough reviews, he's like, I'll write a sequel. And so I'm like, that's crazy. What a wild thing to just put out there 20 years after the DS that he might consider making a sequel.
Yeah.
And, so that'll definitely be one that I'll consider playing on stream when we're done with True Colors. That could be a fun little story adventure one for us to do. Master Detective Archives, I will probably not play on stream because I will not be able to contain myself. I will have to play that one. Ashes would actually be a good little demo game that we could maybe start together. We'll see. So those are the upcoming releases. Let us know, folks, in the chat if you plan on playing any of those, or down in the comment section if any of those games or movies interested you. I see Sneaky Pig says, might go see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Indy is my hero, but I'm afraid after Crystal Skull, I would say we're getting more of the same. I don't think it's going to be any better than Crystal Skull. It might even be somehow worse than Crystal Skull. We'll see.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not planning on wasting any money in a theater for that one, is how I'll put it. I'll probably go see it on my streaming if it comes somewhere free. And that'll be the plan. Free with subscription, whatever.
Yeah.
With that, we're going to move into our final segment of the show, which is, of course, our meme of the week. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can all see what we're looking at here. This is submitted by H-Man over on the Discord. These are all of the forms of Pikachu. We have Detective Pikachu, of course, Defective Pikachu. We have Destructive Pikachu. We have Defensive Pikachu. We have Deceptive Pikachu. And we have Digestive Pikachu. Love it. Love the goofy fun times. That's our meme of the week. If you ever want to check out those memes, you can go to our memes and goof section of our Discord. ! Discord in the chat if you haven't already. Join that, check out, and post your memes. And maybe your meme will be featured in next week's Twig. So with that, we're going to wrap up the show. Mayfly, I'll give you a chance for any shout outs or anything that you would like to say, anywhere that you want to point people, or any of those things. Take it away.
Okay, I'm on the Checkpoint Discord literally all the time. Come hang out and listen to music. I have a bunch of playlists I've made. Nate has a bunch of playlists. I've seen Sneaky's been putting some playlists in there too. So we have a fun time pretty much every work day. Just kind of jamming. So I definitely shout that out. And then I stream sometimes, every once in a while, twitch.tv/xmayfly. Yes, DJ Mayfly. Thank you, Sneaky. But yeah, those are really... That's really it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Folks, we're going to end this one, as we always do, with our 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. So, of course, if you're watching this far, we hope that you'll click that like button. If you're watching over on YouTube, everybody say bye, YouTube, in the chat. And we hope that you'll consider sharing this, dropping comments down below, doing all those sorts of things that you do on YouTube and podcast feeds. And we would love your support of this weekly geekly news show. We have a ton of fun putting it together and would love your support with it. With that, like I said, we're going to end it with our 3 things that we believe to be true about every single one of you out there. Number 1, that God loves you like really, really loves you. Number 2, we love you like really, really love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here on Twitch, Discord, YouTube, or the podcast feed that you're listening to this on. And then number 3, that you, yes, you matter. You are a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, until the next time that I see ya, bye-bye!